Okay, before we get into page 5 and finish page 4, because I once again messed up. Anyway, I did discover when I was cutting out pockets for page 5 that there were some errors in the cutting files. Now, I don't know if this happened during the exporting or if it happened when I put it into a zip file. But what I'm going to do is when I'm finished page 5, I'm going to go into the program. I'm going to make sure all of the files are the right measurements. And anyone who has purchased this collection, you will get an email from me with a new zip. So I will make sure that all of the measurements are what they should be, because I'm now using the zip file. I'm not using my original file. So something happened either in the exporting or the zip file. So I will hopefully get that sorted out today, and it will be put on the Etsy store, a new zip file as well. So with this guy, when I put the main base on, I used the wrong page mat. It was supposed to be this mat. So now I had to cut a new one, and I will put that here because then that makes this even all the way down. So you can open it this way, and I put the matching on the back side, like what's here is going to be here. And it's like that all the way down. Just like that. This is the only odd man out. So you can either open it like pages, or you can just grab it and pull it up. So let's get this one put on. It doesn't have an up or down. So yeah, that's very upsetting, the file. I'm going to have to really examine it and not just assume that the exporting or the zip file actually did its job. And because this is a more complicated page, not that it's complicated because it isn't, it's a busier page. My next page is going to be quite simple. Wow, look at that. Well, a little bit of cleanup. Okay, so now we'll tie that. When you're cutting out your mats, what I did was excuse me, I cut out my top one, and then I knew I wanted these two that are showing to match, so I cut out a mat for page 2 and a mat for page 3 in the same one, and then the same here. That's page 4 and that's page 5, or main base. And then on the back I just tried to keep, so I did page 1 and page 2 the same, and then so that's 1, 2, page 3 and page 4 the same. And then this is that page 4, 1, 2, no, page 3, so 4, yes, no, 5, 3 and 5 are the same. But you can do it however you like. This would also be a good one to just use cardstock, colored cardstock instead of pattern paper. But again, that depends on your individual style, or if you have a specific theme for your album. Oh, good Lord. There we go. So page 5 is very simple. It's a large pocket and a small pocket. So what we're going to do here we're going to layer the pockets. Not the same way, and I just did that wrong, didn't I? Yes, I did. Oh, good gracious. Okay. That goes on the top, Julie, not on the bottom. As you can tell, that's really upset me with those files. I noticed it because when I was prepping this, I laid the small one on top of the large one, and they weren't the same size. The small one was smaller than the large one, which, yes, it should be, but only in height, not in width. Okay, so we will put this right on top. Should go right to the edges. Very good push. And now we'll do the same thing with the small one. And I suppose I didn't have to cut my mats out full size for the bottom one, but I did. I just want to make sure it will fit in between. Yeah, no issue there. But since you can't see the side, I think I'm going to put the mat on first. And then that's going to eliminate having to make sure I get the mat in under, well, it'd have to be inside that, so then that's taking up some of your pocket room. So I think I'll put this on first. And again, you can make this shorter if you want. Now we'll put the smaller pocket right on top of it. And this does make this a little bit thick, but because we have the 1/2 inch here between them, not the 1/4 inch, it allows you to do a little bit more. Because when you close it up, see, there's still lots of room there. You can always use magnets on this if you like to. But okay. Well, that's too short. Oh, maybe not. There we go. And this is just a smidge narrower, maybe. Just a smidge. That's just to make sure that you do have room. And it just barely goes in. Okay. I might increase that one by just a little bit so that it goes under the pocket just a little bit further. And I always glue mine down even on this side. This paper does have the tendency to curl, so at least this way I know that it's not going to come up. Guess my cutter isn't working as well as it should be either. My fisters with the blades that never need sharpening. So very simple, quick and easy, page 5. And once you get some mats in the pockets and no, that's a full size, that's not going to fit. You'll be able to put multiple things in the pocket. So there we are, we're up to page 5, we're almost halfway through. So I will be back soon with page 6 and 7. Thanks for watching. Okay, so now we're on page 6 and 7. So this is page 6. And for this you will need 1 full page wavy lace pocket. And this is a small wavy belly band, but I've added a shadow layer around it and then just cut out the shadow. I'm not sure, I think I just did it once. But anyway, the point of this, I'm going to glue this on here, and that will just make this stronger because it is a pocket, and pulling stuff in and out, you could weaken it. So I'll glue it on, but before I glue it on, I'm going to trim it. Just haven't decided, well, I guess I can't really line it up that way. So we have to just give it a bit of a border at the top there. So yeah, you just have to do, when you hit layer, or that's not even what they call it, shadow, it will bring up a shadow and just hit OK. You don't need to add any more because we're going to be trimming stuff off anyway. So then we also have the mat for here. And then we have a strip that is 4.5 inches by 1.5 and 2 strips that are 6 inches by 1.5. And what we're going to do with these is we're going to expand the pocket so that you can put more stuff in it. So we will start with, well, let's start with this. Let's get that glued on. So what I'm going to do is grab a scrap, and I'm still using scraps. I have only used, let me see, 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 black. So everything else so far has been with the scraps. And then of course there was the 3 12 by 12 black, and then I'll let you know how many sheets of the cardstock and the pattern paper I use when we get there. So scrap of paper. There we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm using the Lacey Quick Dry Tacky Glue. And the reason I'm using this is it doesn't dry as fast as the other one, so it gives me time to really get a good layer of glue on here. So I'm just going to squirt some glue out. Oops, that's not going to work, Julie. There we go. And take my dauber, which this one I only use for gluing, and I wash it every time. And we're just going to put lots of glue on this. Okay, set that aside. And now I always take my dauber and dab it off in some water. Usually cleans out pretty easy. And then I always have J-cloths around. And then I just dab it off there and it's ready to go again. Set that water where it won't get in the way. And now we will take this. We will lay this on top. Trying to keep it even. There we go. A bit of glue there, just get this at it. And this actually gets right into those little nooks and crannies. There we go. Like that. Now, we just have to, which way is this? Okay, that's right. Did I not get glue on that part? I did not. This I can just tack with. Again. There we go. So I'm going to go in. That way we don't want the perforations on that side. I'm going to cut it even with the fold there. And I'm just going to come in from the bottom and just pull that back. We'll cut that right off, just like that. And we'll do the same over here. This one has a little bit different shape. That little nubby up there, let's just get rid of it. Just bring this around. And just take it in just like that. And then we'll trim it right along this guy. Oh, I did. I got the perforation on that side. Oh, Julie. Okay, I'll have to fix this up a bit. Sure, it's not noticeable, but I know it's there. It'll drive me crazy. And we'll go right up there. There we are. So now we have a nice border there to protect this. So you can do that on any of the lacy borders. Just cut out your belly bands, because there's one shape like this and there's one shape like this. And do a shadow layer of it, cut it out that way. So that's that done. Now let's tackle these guys. So we're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Whoops. Be careful, I almost went through that. I just find it so much more comfortable going this way. That's much better. And and the small one. So all we're going to do here is fold it that way and then back this way. And if these aren't completely even, it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal because they will be glued down. And these are the same. Once they're on, we can, whoopsie, give them a trim. So, remember which way we're going to glue that on. Is it this way? Is it this way? Okay, we're going to do it this way. We're going to glue the raw edge to the score line. So this is the front, we want to put on the back, so we can just put glue right on this. And we're going to take our, was that the raw edge? Yeah, that makes it look nicer on the outside. And glue this on. That will be, oh, maybe I did do it wrong there. And then this part here is going to get glued down, so then when you, it will have a pocket like that. I don't like that, so it should have been on the outside. So yeah, I had it sitting properly the first time, so. Raw edge on the outside of this guy. Yeah, that works. So just to make this one match, I'm going to do it the same way. So you can do it either way. Using hair again. And you'll notice that there's going to be more cut off one end than the other, and that's because one end is taller than the other. Start it off even. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this, and I'm going to cut that off right there. And the same on this side. There we go. And do the same here. Oops. And over here. Did do this one funny. Okay. Let's fold in the opposite way now, like that. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll bring this down. Oops. Okay, this corner here is too big. You can see where I got off. There we go. And we can do the same thing here, but we're not going to I don't want to glue them down. Because I want that to expand as well. So that was poor scoring, for sure. There we go. Okay. So we will put glue on all of these, and then we will glue it into our page. Really give this a good push because I did change the direction. Alrighty. So what I'm doing is I'm just tucking this top one here under there. So I will tack that little bit in place. But that's not going to stop it from expanding. So it can still come up. Whoops, maybe it can't. So we'll just unglue that. And we'll glue it down like this. Did not want glue on that part. Get that off. Okay. I'll do it on this page. So we'll start with the bottom. Perhaps we'll start at the top. Or, let me see. There, okay. Because this isn't going to go completely to the top. So that's that side done. Okay. And there we are. We have our accordion pocket. You can probably see it better that way. There it is. Okay. So, oh, didn't ink that. So I will ink that, and then I will come back and we will do page 7. Oh, I might as well just ink. So I forgot that I had cut myself a small wavy lace flip page, and what I'm going to do with this one is make it into a top for this. So what I've done is I've marked it right here, which is, I decided where I wanted it here, and then I marked it. Oh, better go up here more. So I've marked it where I want it, and then I'm going to take and add 1/2 inch for my flap and another 1/4 inch, because I'm going to make a little gusset there so that that will give this pocket that extra room. So we'll turn this, let's go 3/4 of an inch up from there. That puts us right here. So that's where I'm going to cut it. Okay, line it up there. To mark my 1/2 inch. There and there. And cut that off, and we'll cut this off. Those. And that. Those. Now, where did I put this? Scoreboard. So I'm going to take and I'm going to score it at the 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to go over another 1/4 of an inch. So that's 2 more lines. Those, good press. So you can actually take these cutting files and change them to suit yourself. Okay, so now what we will do is I will glue this onto here. And because I've added that 1/4 of an inch, it will look like that on top. And that gives lots of room in that envelope. So what I'm also going to do is add which way do you go? There we go. sorry about that. I'm going to add a magnet. Because I've already put this on, I'll have to put the magnet on the inside and then I will cover it. But I want to put this on before I do the magnet. Oh, come on. Oh, goodness. There we go. Well, maybe. Must be something stuck in there. There we go. Glob of dried glue. More here. Okay, so I'm going to get this right on the edge of the page. At the top. Oh, goodness. There we are. So there is that. Get that nice and straight, and now decide where we're going to put the magnet. Probably up in here. Yeah, that'll be a good spot. So, magnets. Okay, it's just under that little swirl there. So what I'm going to do is punch out a piece of paper. Scrap. Okay. Guess I can use some of this glue and then I'll put some of the tape over it as well. Where's my tape? That's skinny. Oh, there we are, hiding back there. I'm also going to put glue. Maybe I'll just glue this. It won't take long to dry. Slide it up and hold it there. And this way nothing will get caught up on that magnet. It is underneath the circle. So, that is where that one will go. Okay, pokey tool. And there we are. So that will get covered up. And this will get covered up. I'm thinking that I will put just the blue paper on this. And that might help to make this pop a little bit. So I'm just going to leave that for now because I want that to dry. What's going on here? Okay. Okay. So we'll finish up mats for that. I might just do it off camera and then show you. So for page 7, I've already made one. So this is actually a pocket, but I haven't sealed it with the bottom tab, but I have glued it along here. So I've got 2 of these and I'm going to put them along here. And I'm also going to put a flip page here. So with this flip page, I'm also going to put a small gusset or whatever you want to call it, but I'm only going to go over one. And that will just, for one thing, it will shorten the page just a little bit so that this is more protected. It's not rubbing right on the edge. And it will allow the extra space for the pockets and what will be in the pockets. Because I've decided what I'm doing with the pockets, and I might, I think I'm going to use magnets on the pockets as well so that they stay down. Okay. That, so it gives you that little bit there, that 1/8 of an inch, to give you just a little bit of buffer between this and what's under it. So now for this one, I'll show you how I did it. So this, I sized it at 3.85 for the width, and I kept the keep proportion button on. So the whole thing just shrunk and it kept it in proportion. Now of course this is no longer 1/2 inch, so we're just going to line it up and score it. Just like that. So we're going to fold these ones in. And then we're going to take a piece of scrap paper and make sure you have a nice clean line here. So I'm going to glue this onto this flap first. Oh, we want a nice clean line on the bottom. So the nice clean line goes at the bottom. Oops, that's a serrated cut. So and all of this was still cut out of scraps. So don't throw out those scraps. Okay. Now I'm going to glue this side down. So I'm laying it down, making sure that it's nice and straight along this edge. And since this is drying so fast tonight, got to close that up. Now we're going to trim around it. So I'm just using my scissors and I'm angling them under just a little bit. Then we're going to trim across the top. a little bit more careful here. So now that we have that folded, now we can run a little bead of glue right up, I don't know if you can see it, but right up the inside of that fold line. And try to keep it as close to the fold line as you can so that you're not losing any depth in your pocket. And it's as simple as that. And there's your flip pocket. So it will be glued in like that. Okay, so let's glue in the flip page first. So you might find it easier, especially with this little added bit there, to just flatten it there. Give that a good push. And you can just take and push it back like that. So that gives you a little bit of extra room over here, and then it's going to give us a little bit of depth for our pockets. So these guys are going to get glued. I'm going to try and center them. Let's turn that over. Oops. Want that there. So, got one there. Okay. So if we bring them in, we can put them side by side. And then you have about the same amount on either end. Okay, so I'll leave that one sitting there. Put some glue here. I'll put it right there. There we are. There's that one. Get these on, and then we will do the magnets. Just line that right up here. There we are. 2 flip pockets. I will have to figure out the measurements on the mats and let you know. So this will go, so do I just put magnets here? What do you think? If I magnet these down, then that should just sit on its own. So yeah, I think these will be what we put the magnets on. So, I'm going to need 4 magnets. And for this, I think I will just use the tape. Oh. I got these from AliExpress. They aren't the strongest magnets, but for what you pay, they are definitely worth the money. If you're interested, let me know and I can give you the a link to the store. And there we go. Try not to get them too close to the top because then you're not dealing with the little bubble there. There we are. Well, once there's a couple layers of paper, well, maybe not. I think I'm going to magnet that as well. Can I get away with just one, I wonder, on either side? That's the way to find out.